I like this for Zoom. I think that after, during the last game, I was like, they could pick Camille. Even in the game, after they picked Kale, I was like, Kale. I think that Camille is just a really good pick for Zoom, and it's something he's exceptionally comfortable on. His team fighting is fantastic. It's a pure joy to watch, so no real surprise that he's going to lock that one in. He's quite happy to play it into anything. We saw him run Teleport Ignite.
That was Ben.
Oh, that was Ben, of course. My apologies. But we've seen the Teleport Ignite into things like the Renekton, and I think that LPL top laners are just very accustomed to playing into that. But of course, with the Renekton already taken off the board, they're not going to have to worry about that. So, Set and Graves locked in on the other side. And it wouldn't surprise me if we also then saw an AP jungler come out from the side of JDG.
It's the first time we've seen Set picked up by DWG Gaming. We haven't seen it in any roles so far. Could, of course, be flex to support for Beryl. Could be a matchup into the Camille in the top lane. Yagao is going to get his Twisted Fate. He is very, very good at that champion, and we saw Showmaker have a pop-off performance on it earlier today.
I wonder what direction JDG will go with the jungle role. One of the issues that they do have is if they go for the Lilia here, it may be difficult for them to be able to actually set up invades and threaten the enemy jungle. But it looks like that they're sticking with it for the time being. Of course, she is still very strong on this matchup, but now JDG, they need engage. So, something we already talked about last game, things like Leona, things like Norless, fit very nicely into compositions like this.
I'm just going to say Ornn's available. Like, Ornn is up.
Yeah, but you wouldn't pick Ornn if you're JDG in this situation. DAMWON still have a lot of room and direction to go with their comp.
Oh, I thought you were talking about DAMWON. Sorry, that's my mistake. That's my mistake.
Yeah, I'm looking from the context of JDG right now. I think DAMWON should look to ban supports now. I would actually ban away Lu Mao's Bard, and I would ban away his Leona. They're two of his best champions, in my opinion, and I think that giving him the freedom to roam around the map and basically like set up fights whenever JDG want is a very dangerous thing to do.
So I agree with that. I think the Ezreal ban against Loken makes sense. If you're trying to catch out an AD carry, removing the Ezreal from that pool of AD carries who are available, who has his own dash, his own ability to escape a fight, makes sense, but I would love to see a Bard ban on top of that Ezreal. And JDG actually giving DAMWON a helping hand here as they take away Beryl's Leona.
Okay, but JDG should assume that that set is in support, unless they think Noguri is going to play it into the Camille, which he might, but I would try and save. If I'm DAMWON, obviously you want to try and save that flexibility to the very end, which is why I would imagine DAMWON is banning out AD carries. will say is that you have Yagao on a roaming mid lane champion that he's very effective at. You have Zune on a comfort pick in the context of Camille, and I think that he can also have a very strong performance on that. You have Lumao, again, on one of his most strongest performing champions in the form of Bard. So at least in the context of individual performers, JDG have a lot of comfort across the board. DAMWON now, they are in fact going to put the set in the top lane, and they're going to round their composition out with Engage. The early levels with the Kalista Alistar may be a little bit rough, but once they hit level 6, their ability to start a fight is extremely potent. And the great thing about Kalista Alistar is Alistar goes in, if he's in danger, he can then be pulled out, and then he can be thrown back in again to act as another engage tool. So you then have the Galio follow-up, and in theory you have enough damage with the Graves and the Kalista, but I am concerned about DAMWON getting outscaled in this matchup, especially against Zoom, who's only going to get stronger as the game progresses. Now, my biggest concern for Zoom's comp is that they don't have that primary frontline to be able to set up or to contest an objective. They're very reliant on getting to an objective first and setting up on the map first. Now, the caveat to this is you have Twisted Fate Ultimate, which means that you can actually gain full information on where the enemy team is, and if you're willing to expend it early, then it makes it easier to be able to approach these objectives because you don't actually have to face check. This makes things really interesting when it actually comes to these neutral objective fights, and I think that it's going to be very important for JDG to try and mitigate some of the early playmaking tools and mid-game plays specifically that DAMWON Gaming is looking to try and make. We also have to keep our eyes on level 1s. They've obviously been very important in this tournament, and when you're playing the Lilia, let's not forget that it was JDG that used the Lilia to try and set up that early invade, which DAMWON then countered by bringing the Camille down and actually setting up a 5 versus 4, which then allowed DAMWON to snowball the rest of the game.
Alright, so level 1 looks like just a spread out map. Before 2 minutes 30 at this Worlds, we have had 15 kills. Last year at Worlds 2019, we only had 8. So the expectation is that games can be a little bit bloody early on, but doesn't seem to be the case this game as both teams have just spread themselves out.
Was that 8 total, like throughout all of groups?
Pre 2 minutes 30, yes.
So, and we haven't even finished groups yet.
That's true.
So that's pretty, the fact that we're already double and we haven't even finished groups yet, that just goes to show how incredibly...
I will say, I brazenly stole that stat off of Shocks on the analyst desk, so it's possible I misheard, but I'm 99% sure I'm correct.
But yeah, so the level 1 is super important. If we have a look at the quick minimap, you'll notice that, look at the quick minimap. Looking at the minimap quickly, you'll notice that Lilia looks like they're not going to go for any kind of delayed invade. DAMWON did set up some vision to see if that possibility was real. But instead it looks like that Kanavi just going to start on his side of the jungle. No crazy level 1's going to come out from the side of JDG.
An important thing to check early on, Vedius, is always the keystones, the runes that we've taken. Predator Galio, full Showmaker, so he'll be looking to try and roam around the map a little bit. Unsealed Spellbook on your Gao, quite common on the Twisted Fate. You can get those extra spell cooldowns, and of course you can switch between, you know, taking the Ignite for a bit of extra lane pressure or using the Teleport to get yourself around the map. Noguri here trading onto Zoom, and he'll be fine. Noguri able just to walk away.
Good trade for him. I imagine the reason why he has the set into the Camille is because he's confident in the matchup. I imagine that in early levels it's actually quite easy to bully, but there is that additional sustain that Zoom is going to have. But then you can't forget the regeneration that a champion like Set does have as well. So just a lot of back and forth skirmishing. You can see that Zoom kind of conceding that early pressure as Noguri gets an early push and is likely going to drop a ward on the blue buff to gain some information.
Lumao here spotting out Canyon. Canyon will just be able to secure the blue buff. He did have his smite, so even if that Bard Q looked like it was going to take the blue, Canyon could have secured it. Kanavi here looking up towards the top lane. Will sweep out this ward, which means Noguri now needs to be that little bit more careful. You never know if the Lilia is going to come for a gank, and although she doesn't have, you know, any CC early on before she hits level 6, you can always lose out on that 2v1.
So nothing too crazy happening in the early game, kind of things going as we expected. Noguri with the early push up towards the top side. Loken and Lumao doing exactly the same on the bot side. Meanwhile with Yagao, looking for early pressure. Twisted Fates against Galu. We've been seeing a lot starting with the E to try and pressure, and then kind of collapsing a little bit later on.
Noguri is not in a good position here. Hookshot wall dive will be able to catch him out if Zoom uses it. There's the face breaker, but the damage is coming down onto Noguri. He's got the Haymaker, he's going to use it for the shield, but Yagao's on his way up, and Canyon's trying to turn this around. Noguri has to flash into the tri-bush, but Zoom will jump in and get the kill. Stun coming out, there's the taunt flashed away by Kanavi.
So I do believe that it was JDG that actually secured that first blood. Zoom flashing in to actually secure that kill. But notice that this wave is in a very awkward spot for Zoom. So even though Noguri does die, he's actually going to be a huge benefactor off the back of this, and I like the response. Zoom actually TP'd into the mid lane, now they're looking for a play.
Oh, he stops the Justice Punch with a hookshot wall dive, and Showmaker, no flash, used it in the last fight, and the sweep will get the kill. Camille is 2-1-0 at 4 minutes.
Ooh, and things all just come together for JDG. It looked a little scary in the top lane because of where the wave state was. But JDG recognized, okay, let's send Jigao top. He'll push that wave out, get the last bit of experience, make sure it's not frozen, and then we look for a play in mid. But now Showmaker's back.
Canyon's on the way. There's a minion wave, though, to block up here. Stun card available for Yagao. They turn it back around. Showmaker's dead again. Literally TP'd right back into his own demise.
Yes, he did, and that's only going to bring more disaster into the mid lane. Showmaker is crumbling as JDG get their 3rd kill of the game, and Medic, you already highlighted it. Zoom, the benefactor of every single kill for JDG. They now have a 1k gold lead, and that Camille's going to be very scary, especially in the hands of Zoom.
He's almost got a full inventory. He's almost full build ready. It's just 5 items right now. Double Doran's Blade, a longsword, a Ruby Crystal, and a Cull. Which is only going to stack up as the game goes on, of course. Already has a 300 gold bounty as well.
Now, the bright side for Noguri is a lot of experience was lost for Zoom. While he was getting kills, a lot of farm was being denied in the top lane, and you can see that starting to develop in the CS discrepancy in the top lane. But in terms of gold, Zoom is likely sitting very comfortably. He's going to push out this wave, catch those last bit of minions, and Noguri is going to be forced to reset, grab himself an early Vamp Scepter. So it's looking like an early Blade of the Ruin King. At this point in the game, I think that because the levels are even, Noguri, he's probably going to hit 6 first, depending on how quickly Zoom will push out this wave. But this means he can probably still trade in the 1v1. You know, it obviously looks bad, 3-1-0, still a little scary, but the scary thing about Set is how much innate power that the champion does have, and with that early lifesteal, I think he's still going to be a scary contender, but Zoom will hit 6. So that XP difference that I was talking about, clearly not as big as I thought it was. And now Yagao hitting 6 as well. So this is where things start to get very scary for DAMWON. Let's see where Yagao is going to look to roam, because I want to see that ultimate come through. I want to see JDG keeping the pressure up against DAMWON.
You can see Noguri, no flash in the top lane, no teleport. Showmaker, no flash in the mid lane, no teleport. If either of these guys get killed with this first Destiny or get caught out, forced to base, they're going to lose so much experience and gold underneath their towers as the waves push in. Lumao was roaming up towards the mid lane to see if they could do anything against Showmaker, but a nicely placed ward by the Razorbeak spots him out. And bot lane we haven't really talked about too much because there hasn't been much to talk about. As you said, like, MF is good into the Callista, but no level 6s yet for either of them, meaning that you're not going to see that full-on engage from Ghost or Beryl, or the bullet time at Tempered Fate combination that can come out from Lumao and from Loken. Could be a little bit of anti-synergy there, but also if the Bard locks someone up, it makes it so much easier for you to place your bullet time as they get out of the stasis.
Certainly can be. And I think the biggest thing about this is that Callista's not gaining that innate early advantage, because I think as the game progresses, I imagine Loken is going to go for an Infinity Edge build, may go for lethality, we'll have to wait and see, but I think the crit build can still be so devastating because your ult can't crit, of course, which is one of the scariest things about late game misfortune. And yeah, I think that JDG have so many late game tools that DAMWON have to be really careful of, and the fact that they've already fallen behind in this early game, I think one of their game plans was to try and mitigate some of the early playmaking that Yagao wanted to make, and then kind of try and force plays around the bot side of the map, maybe look for dives once they hit that level 6 mark. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to find any of that. They're behind in terms of early objectives. JDG securing that first Inferno Drake relatively early on into the game. They're going to steal the enemy blue buff as well.
You can see DAMWON only able to take away a blue. They will start up the Rift Herald, so they do have a little bit of an option here. You can see how safe Zoom is playing, knowing that he is on the weak side of the map as Kanavi on the Lilia paths down towards bot.
But Yagao has ultimate, notice in the bot lane as well. Both Lumao and Kanavi are making their way up through the river. With the pressure that Yagao has in mid, they can look to collapse on this.
Swirl Seed.
Disappear. Okay, cool, good. Fast clear coming out from DAMWON. I thought that there would have been a window there for JDG to actually contest that, but it looks like that they were a little too slow to make that play reality.
And what I love about this game is, although there are no tournament stakes, right? DAMWON have first, JDG have second place. That's guaranteed for the group. I think it really is going to show us how DAMWON can play from behind. because they haven't really been put behind in any of their games yet in Group B. And with JDG having an early lead, being a very good team. Remember, JDG took Top Esports to 5 games in their finals. Like, they're not a bad team just because they've lost a couple of games. I'm really looking forward to seeing how DAMWON now navigate being behind this early on.
It's definitely an interesting one because, as you rightly said, DAMWON aren't really used to playing from a deficit.
Yeah. At least not at Worlds.
Well, also domestically,
That's
like
true.
I think Yamato was telling me that they only lost like 5 games throughout the entirety of summer. They had an incredible record, and like the fact that anyone is that dominant in the LCK of all places is incredibly impressive, and why so many people had such high praise for them. And you know, there were a couple question marks for me in terms of their drafting, but you know, it's difficult to doubt this team when they've been so successful. But yeah, it largely comes down to this Galio as an answer to Twisted Fate and how well you can actually use it. Because the thing is, while it does mitigate some of the Twisted Fate's ability to roam, like you often concede pressure in the mid lane, which means that the Twisted Fate always gets to move first. But now we see DAMWON looking to be proactive on the map. They've got a wave in the top lane. They're going to drop the Herald. They're going to crack open what looks to be the first tower of the game. And they're going to funnel this gold onto Noguri. They're going to put a little bit more faith in him, and Canyon's also going to claim some gold, but also they're going to bring this very extended lane to Zoom. Now, there is the risk that Zoom could freeze this. So I actually want to see DAMWON really shove this wave all the way in. And it looks like Canyon is going to hover around Noguri as well, so I like this play. Make sure that it goes all the way to the tower. And you can see that JDG is looking to make the cross map on the bot side of the map.
Yeah, currently Kanavi is down towards the Gromp. Looking to see if he can find a gank here. We'll mention the Lilting Lullaby sleep is not broken by bullet time. So if you manage to get someone asleep as those bullets rain across, they will just keep on pounding. They're not going to actually wake up the enemy. Yeah.
Did not know that.
Persistent damage is its technical name. So bullet time is persistent damage, and it will not wake you up.
So is that Misfortune E as well?
I do not know about Misfortune E. I remember that we had a Lilia versus with MF in Plains, and so I researched it then. It was confirmed by, I believe, Freak, who knows a lot about these things most of the time.
I would trust his opinion, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Very interesting. All right, so hopefully we get to see that combo a little bit later on, because it's definitely devastating, that's for sure. You can see the Canyon, though, still doing very well in terms of the farm. He is, of course, a large benefactor of all those plates that he helped push in with Noguri. So far, Zoom, the fact that he's 3-0, or 3-1, rather, I should correct myself, hasn't resulted in a huge amount in terms of early game snowballing. DAMWON have done a pretty good job of not being punished on the cross map. And now they're actually looking to continue some of their aggression as they look to invade the bot side.
And we haven't really seen the roaming out of JDG that perhaps we would have done as Beryl dives in here onto Lumao. Collateral damage will chase him through the magical journey. And DAMWON Gaming get their second kill of the game with a minute left before that dragon spawns.
So Lumao was a little suspicious that someone may be in that brush, but the Q doesn't connect onto anyone, so he's like, okay, cool. So he then just walks back up to that choke point, but he doesn't realize that Beryl is lying in wait. And then the burst damage comes out from the 3-man unit of DAMWON, and they're able to quickly gain something back. Now, JDG on the offensive.
They're all diving in onto Noguri. Teleport's going to come out as Showmaker wants to join the fray. There's 3 players up here, but Noguri's just killing Zoom. The Hextech Ultimatum comes down. Noguri still gets the shutdown. In the end, Kanavi will join up with Yagao. The sleep's going to land onto this Galio. Yagao waiting for the Suncast to come out. It's a double for Kanavi. But Noguri showing in the 1v1, or in the 3v1, he can still win out.
Yeah, that's why you pick the set into the Camille. The amount of sustain that he was able to bring out, the amount of damage he brought to the fight as well, actually made that trade much more worth it for DAMWON. Of course, they still lose 2 members, so JDG still feeling pretty comfortable, but it means that another plate is garnered in the bot lane, and notice that DAMWON now sitting with the gold advantage. After being 1.5k gold down, they've actually been able to come back out onto the map, and they've been able to find a large number of picks. So props to DAMWON. They're going to get their first drake of the game, and suddenly what looked like a devastating early game has actually kind of swung back into DAMWON's favor, even though the goal is very even.
Kanavi's going to try and steal away this red. Will secure it as Noguri unable to get there in time. But a couple of plates were taken by Yagao as that dragon went down. So have another look at this, because Noguri's just, he's having none of this.
So the collapse seems quite straightforward. You know, Yagao with the ultimate, Noguri's a little overextended, but Noguri's like, nope, I'm pretty sure I can win this fight. And he's able to do it. He gets 600 gold off the back of it as well, a huge shutdown. And I think Showmaker didn't actually need to TP into that fight. He didn't use his ultimate, but you know, he didn't really offer a lot.
So I think the taunt on Zoom may have been just enough.
Fair.
because Zoom had a couple of moments where maybe another precision protocol would have killed Noguri before he could get those final punches in.
I mean, I would argue that there are very rarely situations where if you're getting ganked on a side lane, like TPing in to try and help is not a useful thing to do. Of course, the only other thing DWG could have considered is a potential cross-mat dive into the bot lane. Which, Showmaker's ultimate could have been used for, but ends up not happening. Either way, as we were saying, gold's still very even. Slight advantage for JDG. Looks like JDG is looking for a pick.
Beryl does have his ultimate. There's the bullet time. Beryl's dead. He doesn't even pop his up, but the teleport comes in behind them as Noguri wants a little piece of this action. Tempered Fate's going to stop him in his tracks. Hero's entrance coming out. Noguri dive bombed on, but Zoom is able to escape from the bottom side. There's a lilting lullaby. Here comes your get out from the top. Ghost trying to trade onto him, but already Canyon is dead. Down towards the bottom side, the showstopper's used onto Loken, but Noguri is caught out in 3 members of JDG. And Noguri, you're not going to win this one this time. Double kill for Yagao. Zoom takes another.
And that ends up being 4 kills going over to JDG. Beryl just respawned, but DWG Gaming falling apart here as they're able to find a huge fight on the side of JDG. Beautiful stuff, and it all started with a great pick from Lu Mao. He catches Beryl out of position. Of course, Beryl not having the flash ends up getting shut down very quickly, and then DWG, they just try to turn the fight back in their favor. Going for that fight when they really didn't need to is what enabled JDG to come out on top, and now they're going to just accelerate that gold lead when the gold is very even, when it was in a pretty relatively safe map state for both sides. DWG commit, and they end up getting punished.
And you look at it, like Beryl had ultimate that entire time. You pop that early, you made it getting 55% of damage early doors. You also have the Fate's Call from Ghost. If you can get in range of your Kalista, you can get the hell out of that fight. Felt a little bit greedy here from DWG.
Yeah, let's have a look back. So the root comes through, good damage from both Kanavi and Lu Mao. As you rightly said, ultimate available for Ghost, ultimate available for Beryl. Neither ends up getting popped, and they think, okay, this is a good collapse for us. 3 versus 3, but then a great ultimate coming out from Lu Mao. He then flashes out, and then DWG realize, oh no, we're being flanked from literally every single side. Yagao gets the initial pick. He then gets another kill onto Ghost.
That's well played.
He's able to mitigate any of the burst with the Great Zhonya's as well. And on the bot side, JDG are able to get a numbers advantage versus Noguri, where they end up getting that kill. So beautifully played by JDG, and they're really going toe-to-toe with DWG. It was looking a little shaky after they weren't really able to snowball this Camille, but now that she's got the Trinity Force, now that more items are starting to get finished for JDG, you can see that they're in a much better position. And they are the first team in this tournament to really push down to this level.
Showmaker's going to pop the taunt. Destiny has been used by Yagao as well. Canyon forced down towards the bottom side. Yagao actually fighting Noguri here. There's no wave at the tower, so Noguri's actually just going to look for the straight-up dive. Doesn't have the showstopper. Has the haymaker, turns it around. True damage not quite connecting. Kanavi up towards the top side is being fought by Showmaker, but here comes Loken with the damage. Beryl forced up towards the top of the fight, and he will land the knock-up, but he won't do much more. It's a double for Zoom, 6-2-2 on this Camille.
It's being 3 for 1 overall. DWG, they keep ending up in these skirmishes that they do not want to be in. Now, the health regeneration coming in from Noguri. He doesn't have the flash, but ooh, just barely misses the W there. And this is going to force Yagao back. We'll give Noguri an opportunity to hit onto the tower, but Zoom is doing the exact same thing on the top side of the map. And while Noguri isn't getting any kills, Zoom is only getting more. 6-2-2 now.
12 kills to 5 at the 17-minute mark and a 4,500 gold lead for JDG. We'll have another look at this fight in the top lane because it did look a little bit like JDG may have overextended.
So, oh, there's the combo that we see. A huge amount of burst coming down onto Canyon. And JDG, they had information, but they realized that they could collapse first. And honestly, they should have felt like the stronger team, which is why they can commit to this fight. Showmaker and Canyon get taken out so extremely quickly that there's very little that DWG can do to answer.
I think the important thing about these last few fights is not purely that Zoom is getting, a lot of kills. He's massive, this Camille, but also that other people are picking up these kills. You can see Yagao now 2-0-3, Lichbane, Rod of Ages stacking up. A single kill on Loka means he's got his Essence Reave, and it looks like Infinity Edge will be next. You've also got Kanavi, who's finished his Runic Echoes, and the Liandry's. Like, everyone on JDG is so much more scary, and you don't only have to think about Zoom.
It's very true. But DWG, they're first on the objective. They're going to burst this one out very quickly. JDG, they don't look like that they're going for a fight right now. A couple ultimates still not available. Yagao wants to have that ult up before committing to a fight, especially without having all the info.
Felt a little bit like they were looking for the Swell Seed into Sleep into Bullet Time combo once again. Couldn't quite find it though. JDG have taken the towers in the top and the bottom lane. But this mid tower for DWG has stood in every game but one here at Worlds. PSG took it earlier on, and JDG are looking to match that record by taking the second mid turret against DWG. Ghost Trying to force them back with a little bit of damage on Zoom, but you can see where the wave state is here, Vedius. It looks like both of them are pushing for JDG.
It's a bit awkward for JDG because, like, I'm pretty sure bot lane is slow pushing in their favor, which means, like, a lot of farm is just slowly going to waste. Meanwhile, on the top lane, I think the same thing is happening. So ideally what JDG want is for DAMWON to go and catch these waves, but there's no real need for them now. So JDG have to push them out, which is why we can see Yagao actually going top and Lumao getting picked off.
Yeah, Bell just jumps straight in. Noguri's going to take the kill. Here's the hero's entrance. Loken uses the heal to get the movement speed to get the hell out of there because he wanted none of that swell seed. Dodge just goes wide. Here's the Destiny coming in from Yagao as well, and Zoom tries to dive in. The bullet time comes out, but the shutdown goes over to Ghost. Bell doing a lot of work on the front line. The sleep's going to land only onto one. Noguri will fall, but JDG only able to get a 1-for-1 trade so far. 1-for-2, sorry. Ghost flashes the wall and will just about escape me down towards the bottom of this. Showmaker has just managed to sneak by the enemy lines and should be able to back by these Kruks. In fact, he's going to execute. Is he? Did he just show?
Not entirely sure, but either way, it looks like he's going to get away to safety. Stun comes through. Ooh, good damage coming out from Canyon. And
I'm loving these fights, Vedi.
yeah, they're very explosive. A bit of a shift from what we've seen in the first 2 games that we cast. And it's the fact that JDG took that fight that surprised me. You know, we talk a lot, and there's kind of been this stereotype around LPL teams that they will just fight you, and it's because of fights like that that stereotype exists. They were at a numbers disadvantage, yet they still committed to the fight, because something that I think LPL teams recognize very well, number one, is item spikes. When they realize that they're in a better position to fight, then they're more than happy to take fights. But the other thing they track very well is ultimates. So a lot was actually used from DAMWON to get that initial pick onto Lumao, and they realized, hey, this actually could be a good opportunity for us to get the re-engage. Now, of course, they end up losing 2 members off that because Zoom overcommits and gets himself in a very awkward position. And they don't actually convert it into a huge amount off the back of it. But now they may be looking for a pick onto Noguri.
Yeah, Noguri is all on lonesome here. He's going to pop the showstopper. Counter TP coming out. Zoom's going to have to flash the wall, but Yagao has the stun card locked in. There's the exhaust onto the set. The Haymaker coming out. The Temper Fate into a 4-man taunt. Bevel's on his way as well. Noguri gets Zoom. And now this could be an incredible fight for DAMWON as Ghost is off towards the top side fighting against Kanavi. Showmaker quite low. Low can try to do the damage that he can. Bullet time coming out. Hits Bevel. Hero's entrance now going to dive bomb back onto Noguri. Kanavi off towards the top of this fight. Isn't able to get in, but Canyon snuck behind them. Canyon is here, and he is darn angry. Collateral damage goes in. The bait's call lands Bevel on the back line, and he gets the shutdown onto Kanavi. And this is an incredible fight for DAMWON Gaming. Yagao and Lumao have to walk away.
That looks like a 3-for-0 in favor of DAMWON. And remember, it's JDG that started that fight off. They tried to get the TP flank in from behind, but Noguri, he played that exquisitely, utilizing his ultimate to buy a little bit more time, separating Zoom from the rest of his team, and then the rest of DAMWON finally show up. Now, DAMWON making their way towards the Baron. Are they actually going to start this objective off knowing that Kanavi is still dead for another 8 seconds?
Yagao with the Lich Bane and Rod of Ages stacking up, going for a Seeker's Arm Guard Zonya's, but doesn't have it yet, and Bevel is looking for that engage opportunity. What else have we got up? Only Noguri's, only the showstopper, and Zoom is looking for the fight on the backline. Showmaker already down, Bevel forced away the Baron, down to 2,000 HP. There's no jungler in the pit here with DAMWON. It just needs Canyon to secure it. Ghost will take it. Yagao dodges away from the facebreaker, goes back in with the stun card, but the showstopper knocks him against the wall and keeps Ghost alive for the moment. Noguri's going to sacrifice himself as he dives onto Yagao, can't quite get there, and Zoom will take another. 3 Barons down for DAMWON.
Wow, okay, so DAMWON realize they have to commit to this objective. They know they can secure it with Callista and Graves having smite. They walk away, but they lose 3 members. JDG are going to quickly look to try and punish DAMWON for this, as they have the rise set on the Drake spawning in 30 seconds, along with a tier 2 tower. Crazy stuff between the 2 teams. This is much more of what we expected from 2 of the favorites to win the whole thing.
Yeah, no 10k gold lead for DAMWON at the 21-minute mark is a much better sign for JDG, especially after they lost to PSG earlier today.
But I think we also get to see some of the really fun team fighting from DAMWON. Like, it was so good how they were able to turn that bot lane fight around. So much patience being shown. The fact that Showmaker, after losing the vast majority of his health, then re-engages with the ultimate once more. Like, just very well played. Beautifully done. And now DAMWON, with the Baron buff, a little bit more gold under their belt. Yes, they're definitely still weaker, but items have started to come through. Look, Set working on his 3rd item, likely to be the Death Stance. They're going to get themselves their 3rd Drake of the game, putting themselves on Soul Point, but it's still a 3.5k gold deficit. So these fights, they're going to continue to happen. JDG and DAMWON definitely not afraid to go toe-to-toe.
And it's so strange because we see fights go either way depending on the smallest of margins. Like, does the sleep connect where we want it to? Does Noguri get a big haymaker shield, or does he not manage to get the damage mitigation from that? Showmaker is now looking for the flank position. Beryl going in. That's the Righteous Glory on the Alistar. He's going to be able to find the engage, but only onto Yagao. There's the taunt. Tempered Fate lands on 2, and Yagao able to dodge just to the side of it. Lumao placed that perfectly. Base Cool's going to pull back Beryl, and they are wanting to get out of this fight. But with the Destiny, Yagao's actually going to reposition into the mid lane, and there's a TP flank here coming out from Zoom. Has the Hexa Ultimatum, has the engage, dives in, 3-man stun, there's the Hexa Ultimatum, and Ghost is done for. The bullet time rips DAMWON Gaming to absolute shreds. Beryl will fall as well, and JDG find a perfect flank in the mid lane.
What looks like a great engage from DAMWON was completely mitigated by Lumao's Bard ultimate. Like, that was just picture perfect. Oh, and now, was he called out?
Tactical, oh, he missed the tactical sweep!
He misses it, but either way, JDG still walk away as the victors off the back of that fight. The TF ultimate combined with the TP from Zoom. Zoom getting a 3-man stun off, like, everything just came together for JDG off the back of that, and now that Baron has done nothing to help DAMWON get back into this game.
And DAMWON have lost 2,500 gold across the course of the Baron power play. JDG now with a 5,000 gold lead. Let's look at where they are in terms of items. Ravenous Hydra, Trinity Force, finished on Zoom. Zhonya's Lichbane, Rod of Ages, and a rapid fire cannon on its way for Yagao. The ability to stand that little bit further back from an Alistar, from a Galio, and still connect with your stuns in a team fight is going to be monumental for JDG. Canyon looking to sneak something away, perhaps hoping someone face checks him, but no one is going to step into that portion of the jungle, so he will just retreat.
So I want to remind viewers very quickly, if you have just joined us, DAMWON, because they are 5-0, because it is impossible, even if JDG win to catch up, there will be no tiebreaker. DAMWON is locked in first in this group. What these two teams are playing for is not only for pride, but to showcase the caliber that these two teams are bringing to this tournament. JDG, they had a bone to pick with DAMWON after they got slaughtered in their first matchup. And the fact that both teams have been going toe-to-toe, but JDG have just been consistently coming out ahead in the 5v5, showcases the caliber of this team. Now, there's still a lot left of this game to be played, but we're looking at the Cloud Soul to be the next primary tool to fight. DAMWON still have ways to get back into this game, but it's going to be hard. Feels like JDG do have the scaling advantage, and DAMWON need to try and prevent JDG from getting these optimal fights. They're flanking around, they're looking for a collapse. On to Yagao, and I think they're going to find it.
Face check straight into him. Bell's going to knock him away, and actually that gives Yagao a moment. It's going to lock the stun card, flashes away from the collateral damage, and the flash chases in. Beryl flashing, igniting, because he knocked Yagao away at the start.
Yeah, not ideal there for DAMWON Gaming, but they do get themselves a pick onto Yagao. A lot of flashes had to be expended. This will slow JDG down a little bit, allow them to get a little bit more control back over the map, set up some vision towards the top side if they want. DAMWON still 4k gold behind though. A pick is pretty much all that was. Does get Yagao's flash, which could be valuable later on as fights are continuing to get closer and closer.
And you can see with only a minute left on the Baron and a minute on the Cloud Drake, these two teams have to decide which objective is more important. Now, Cloud Soul, it does give you something. You know, you're getting cooldown reduction, you're getting ultimate cooldown reduction. It definitely helps. You get all that extra movement speed as well. The question is, do you value that more than the buff the Baron gives you for that short period of time? Usually something that is permanent is more valuable than something that is impermanent, something that falls off. And there are times teams make the decision that they just want the pressure from a Baron immediately and do not care about that permanent buff.
I mean, movement speed can be really valuable later on into the game as well, especially when you have to play it so much of the map. Being able to get back into lanes, especially when you reset, it can all stack up. It can be very valuable depending on how it's used. Canyon going to take a huge hit there. It looks like JDG trying to garner information. Regrouping in the mid lane, getting that push. And now they're looking for the collapse.
It's being used. There's no vision in this bush where Canyon and Beryl are waiting, but you can see Beryl with the Oracle's just going to sweep out that ward. Can go with the Hex Flash engage here if he wants on the Alistar. Has Shurelia's and the Righteous Glory. So as soon as he wants to go forward, he will do so at a fair lick. DAMWON Gaming have control of the Baron right now, but the bottom side river is entirely JDG's. Beryl still looking for a flank position here. Lumao is going to be the one to face check. You said in pick and ban, Vetti. JDG don't have the easiest ways to walk into darkness. It's Lumao who has to check, and that Bard is pretty darn squishy. That zombie ward up towards the top side here, doing a lot of work for JDG as they spot Beryl, Ghost, and Canyon, who are stepping forward. Blastcone's going to knock them back. But the JDG have regained control of the river.
They can do a lot with the priority that they have in mid lane. Speaking from the perspective of JDG, of course. They now have control of a bot river. They have information on top. Like, the entire river belongs to JDG right now. Lumao going to reset so that he can stock back up on vision, and DAMWON going to have to expend that for now. They're going to start off the Baron. This is, of course, very fast. The ultimate from Yagao, unavailable, so they will have to face check this.
Lumao does have the Tempered Fate. Beryl looking for the flank. The Hex Flash across the wall is going to be incredible to put a time. Stopped immediately. Loken goes golden, but can JDG fight back from their AD carry? Just being deleted. Lumao tries to dive into the front line. There's a showstopper from Noguri. Kanavi uses his stopwatch as well, but Zoom has killed Ghost. Now Yagao opening up with the blue cards, trying to get the damage down. Kanavi's going to fall. Yagao fighting up in a 2v1, has to use a stopwatch of his own. Zoom trying to act as the body man, act as a bouncer. Yagao has a blue locked in once again, and now it's Zoom v3. The GA will bring him back, but immediately he's going to get sent straight packing for the fountain. He turns it back around. He kills Canyon. The jungle is down. And JDG Zoom may have just saved the game for his team.
What an incredible fight. The flank from Beryl to lock up Loken removed so much of the damage from JDG, but Zoom was not willing to go down without a fight. Taking out the jungle might deny DAMWON the Baron, but they will secure themselves the Cloud, so they'll open up the Elder Drake, and DAMWON saying, it doesn't matter what kind of deficit we're at, we will fight our way back into this game, and what a fight that was.
As we said earlier, Vedia's Cloud Soul still impactful, still important, but not always as powerful as a Baron. Killing off Canyon by Zoom at the end of this fight, but the early flank from Baron.
Oh, so good, because it just completely locks up Loken. The rest of the team can't help. Lumao tries to flash in and help, but then all he does is lure Canyon away, and this ends up being a 4 versus 3. Kanavi buys a lot of time, doing a lot of damage as well, and then it's Yagao and Zoom. Huge props to Yagao. The way in which he plays this alongside Zoom, you can see why they're called the Dumpling Duo, because they work beautifully. And that play was delicious as JDG. They can secure the Baron.
Canyon tried to get it with the collateral damage, but I think he was still just coming off the respawn timer.
That must have been the fact that because DAMWON took so long to take the Cloud Drake, it took them so long to reset. You can see the teleport was used from Showmaker, but they were not there in time. JDG responding kind, and they will get themselves the Baron buff immediately, giving themselves control over the game once more.
This game doesn't matter, Vetti. Like, this is one of the most fun games I have watched at Worlds so far, and they are fighting over pride. It is incredible to see JDG continue to strike back. 5,000 gold, their lead. It's been up and down throughout the course of the game, but now 31.5 minutes in, JDG have the Baron for the next 2.
What JDG prove with this game is that DAMWON is not infallible. This team that looked unstoppable can in fact be beaten. It requires a lot.
Yep.
You need the skill to do it, because you can see consistently throughout this game, DAMWON have been willing to fight you. They have outplayed JDG in team fights. They have found windows where they can come back, but it is possible. And JDG have looked damn good doing it. 21-16 is the kill score with the Baron buff. They're knocking on the doors of the base of DAMWON. This could be the last line of defense as JDG now gather to try and get a victory over the undefeated DAMWON.
It is the first time at Worlds 2020 that DAMWON have lost an inhibitor tower. It is the first time they have lost an inhibitor. And for JDG, they are looking for their first win over one of the tournament favorites. JDG came in as a pre-tournament favorite to win the title as well, and now they are trying to play the map. They're trying to pull DAMWON all asunder. As you can see, Yagao teleports up to the top lane, has the Destiny. Lumao has base, he's going to rejoin his team, but super minions on their way in the bottom lane, trudging along that wave. Will slowly start pushing into the base. Showmaker and Noguri up here, but the Destiny will spot them out.
JDG now looking to play through 2 lanes. As you mentioned, the super minions stacking up bot, so JDG can just keep pressuring the topside jungle, limit the options available to DAMWON, and slowly work their way closer and closer towards another inhibitor. DAMWON are going to need another miracle fight in order to come back into this game, because JDG very strong. especially with so many items rather being completed.
And you're looking for summoner spells, you're looking for flashes. Noguri doesn't have his Showmaker, none on him. Ghost doesn't have a flash either. On the other side, Yagao is the only player on JDG with a flash. Beryl, a lot of this rests on him. Can he find the engage? Can he get in onto that backline and allow Noguri the time to get there? Because of course, Set doesn't have any inherent gap closers. Like you have to run at your opponent, so if Beryl can lock them up and keep them there for you, can do a lot of work. Noguri though, stunned up. Had to use the Haymaker already. Super Minions now on the Nexus Towers. Yagao stepping forward, has the Rapid Fire Cannon on this Twisted Fate. That extra range to harass these towers, to barrage DAMWON Gaming. And as you said, Vedius, is looking very much like gods can bleed.
Thing is though, DAMWON can continue to hold the line because no one from JDG is pushing in the mid lane. They need to keep the pressure up on all 3 lanes if they really want to try and split DAMWON apart, because as a collective, DAMWON do have enough wave clear to hold the line. So it looks like JDG, they're going to relieve some of the pressure for now, steal away some more camps, deny as much farm and experience, along with gold, away from DAMWON.
Important notes here, Vedius. Loken now has a GA, and Zooms is about to come back off cooldown. So there was a window where DAMWON could have played around the fact that Zoom didn't have a Guardian Angel. It's now back for him in just a moment's time. You can see the wisp of air appears around him once again, and with Baron up in 2 minutes and the Elder Drake up in 1:40, that single item can turn the favor for JDG. Collateral damage was used there to try and stop Lumao backing away. Just those little few extra seconds can have a big impact. And of course, Canyon's ultimate is, well, it's almost back off cooldown. He's got 3 Cloud Drakes and a Cloud Soul.
For now, they're just getting a little bit of vision towards the bot side of the map. They know the Elder spawning in 1:15. And that's kind of like the best hope that they have. If they get that objective, then winning teamfights becomes a lot easier. But of course, you have to get the objective. And to do that, you've got to leave your base. They've been given this brief window, but I want to see JDG now go back on the offensive, start threatening these towers. Zoom has TP, send the Camille up into the top lane. Create this dual pressure so that DAMWON is forced to split. Of course, they also have teleports themselves that can try and match, but because of how strong Zoom is, it feels like that he's going to be difficult to deal with regardless if we get sent into him. But instead, JDG, they're just staying grouped. They're not leveraging the teleport for the time being. Instead, they're focused on trying to find a potential pick, maybe a fight.
Showmaker on the wrong side of the wall. Noguri down towards the bottom side of this. Zoom diving in. Showmaker's going to flash away. Now Canyon opens up onto Zoom. There's the bullet time. Double stopwatch used by Canyon and Showmaker. Noguri, though, going in with the showstoppers. The rest of his team is not there, but the hero's entrance is a little bit too late. Showmaker dive bombs into the middle of JDG. The ignite goes down as Beryl will be the first to fall. Showmaker follows shortly after. And JDG, they welcome DAMWON with open arms. They said, dive into us as much as you want. We'll take your lives. We'll take your Nexus. And we will take the first win over DAMWON Gaming at Worlds 2020. Gods can bleed, and JDG showed us that today as they will defeat DAMWON Gaming in the final game of Group B. In a moment's time.
In a moment's time, they'll take the Nexus. I wanted to give you your moment, Medic, but JDG did not.
They had other plans.
What an exciting game from both teams. I think we saw a great back and forth. Of course, JDG, they will not be able to get that tiebreaker because they lost to PSG. We could have had another game. We could have had one more to determine first place in this group, but alas, we shall not. What an exciting game though, back and forth. It felt like that from the beginning, JDG were really in control, but DAMWON did such a great job of like clawing that gold gap back, finding so many impressive team fights and really making JDG work for it and showcasing why there is so much respect shown towards DAMWON. But it was JDG that was consistently coming out ahead in the fights later on. The execution that they were able to find, these small windows where they could punish DAMWON were there, and they were able to execute upon it fantastically. What a great game from both teams. Definitely both going to be terrifying moving into the quarterfinals.
Whoever is first seed has to play JDG. I am not very happy.
I mean, bear in mind, you also look at it in the context, like JDG, they've beaten both Suning and Top Esports domestically, you know? So either way, like, the LPL representatives could end up being knocked out by a team that has made 2 back-to-back finals. They won in spring, and they went to 5 games in summer. So, like, there's a reason why this JDG team is very scary. And
it's Worlds. That's why it's so exciting.
Yes, yes.
We are going to check out more of that JDG game, though, because in our Mercedes drive to victory, we'll have a look at their bot lane fight. 14 minutes into the
Which
game.
one was this? There were a lot of fights, Medic. This is the one.
one.
Yes, so this was a big punish from JDG, and this is where we actually saw some of the over-aggression from DAMWON. At this point, I think they just accept the fact that, hey, we just lost Barrel, there's not much we can do, but they actually commit the teleport in from the flank. They know that the Galio ultimate can come through, but I think that we consistently saw Lumao landing such great bard ultimates pretty consistently throughout this game.
There's a reason you have to be so scared of this guy, like, especially the one up at Baron Pit was just pixel perfect, and you can see Noguri tries to do what he can, but Zoom is there, ready and waiting to dive on into him. And of course, you have to remember Yagao's flank off towards the top side as well. His ability to 2v1 using the stopwatch to make sure he couldn't be rendered down. In all honesty, I think this game really showed and solidified for me why JDG are one of the tournament favorites. It was well executed. Even when DAMWON Gaming started to fight back, JDG was still able to find avenues and advance the tempo of the game. But for now, we're stepping away, but we'll always be back with more takeaways from Group B after this.